All right, so we are gearing up to read The Interlopers, and what we need to do is set the stage and have a focus for reading. So last week we looked at characterization, irony, and plot in Lamb to the Slaughter, and that was a good old murder story. This week we're adding foreshadowing and conflict. So we're taking what we already have and we're building upon it. So let's do like a quick review and then we'll build upon it. So the quick review, direct characterization is when an author says he is tall. He tells you something. Indirect characterization is when an author shows you what that person looks like or is like, what their character is, their character. So an example of an author shows would be he hit his head on the door frame because he forgot to stoop down. Well, that would show you that he's tall without saying he's tall. I have a little clip. If you want to watch this adorable clip, it's going to be in the slideshow. If you feel like you still don't have that concept down. Irony, we talked about verbal irony, situational, and dramatic. We focused more on situational and dramatic in Lamb to the Slaughter. I want you to keep an eye out as we read about which type of ironies are coming out in this story. So remember, verbal irony is like the opposite of what somebody says is what they mean. Situational irony, we don't expect that to happen, like if a fire station would burn down. Dramatic irony, we know something they don't know. So we're going to keep that in the back of our head as we read our story. And now we're going to add foreshadowing. I made this one a little bit bigger. Here we go. Super short video. Let's make sure that my volume is up. Okay, let's try this. Oh, we're just going to watch it here. Okay.
A young woman is preparing for her day. She brushes her hair, sprays on a little perfume, opens her drawer to get her scarf, closes her drawer, and leaves her home. Wait a second. Did you notice something unexpected? Why is a gun in her drawer? Why is it presented in this way when it is not used at this moment? You are given a clue about what will happen later. This is called foreshadowing. Foreshadowing happens when clues in a story hint at future events. What about this situation? Who is the man in the photograph? What might the photograph be foreshadowing?
Okay, so that's a super brief explanation of foreshadowing, but the idea is when you have an author that is giving you clues in the beginning, so you have your setup, you have your setting, your exposition. We're figuring out where we are in the world, what time we are in all of existence, and then our author may be giving us hints and little breadcrumbs along the way that we can use to guess what might be happening next. Some of you guys are really good at doing this, like when you watch a movie or a new TV show, you're like, I bet they're gonna blah, 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 blah. You're picking up then on the author's use of foreshadowing. So foreshadowing often happens in the exposition and a lot in the rising action. In plot, the rising action, this time we're going to focus is conflict. Okay, so this is where the pear deck comes in. Are you ready? So what is conflict? This isn't a YouTube video, so it was like not easy to insert. So bear with me. Conflict. You probably know what conflict is, but we're going to look at the literary conflict. This is called a literary element and technique. So conflict, when you have a struggle with your main character against some sort of opposing force. I think I talked briefly about how it would be a really boring story if you woke up and everything was cool. It is a much more interesting story if you woke up and your alarm clock forgot to go off, and then you can't find any clothes, and so on and so forth. Okay, so internal conflict. That's when the conflict is going on inside the person's head. This is often when they're in their own thoughts, when they're in their feelings. If it causes them to act in a weird way or to not act, then we know that we're having some conflict. So character versus character. This is the main one. This is the biggie. Okay. This is also the part where, as a teacher, I say, are you taking notes? Are you writing this down somewhere? Because you should be. Okay, folks, so conflict. Yes, it is essential. What we're going to talk about is 3 particular types of conflict. So conflict, its 2 main branches are internal in yourself and external outside of yourself. We're looking at man versus self, man versus man, and man versus nature. Okay, so you have your pear deck. Get ready to vote. Okay, I'm going to show you a picture, and I want you to decide what type of conflict is being shown in this picture. Here we go. First picture. We ready? Are we back? Are we ready? Okay. So what type of conflict is this? Man versus man versus self, man versus nature. So if you click on this slide, then it should give you the little buttons to vote. If not, then tell me like in the chat, Mrs. Leggett, this isn't working. Okay, I've got 2 out of 5. I'm going to wait for a few more. Remember, if you haven't joined already, that Pear Deck link is in the room chat link. Okay, what do we have? Ooh, man versus self, man versus nature. Okay, interesting. The answer that I had in here is that it's man versus nature, because you have a fishy struggling. This is like the Skoke Valley when the water rises and we have flood warnings. So it would be, you could imagine that this person is having to navigate this natural situation. Okay, next one. Good job. What type of conflict is this? We've got man versus man and man versus self. Interesting. So we've got some siblings here. Noogie! You've never done that, right? You've never given or received a noogie. No. This is man versus man. Oh my gosh. It was my favorite thing to give my sister a noogie. I would do this. So I would put her in like this little chokehold, half Nelson kind of thing. And then I would do this, and I'd wrap my leg around her like too, so she couldn't go, because I'm the older sister and I was, a terror, until she started doing wrestling in high school, and then I stopped. All right. What type of conflict is this? Next one. Nice. Very well done. Yeah. Man versus self. That is man versus self. And our last one, ladies and gentlemen. What type of conflict is this? We've got Joker and the Batman. Yummy salmon. Sorry, I just saw your chat. Yes, right? That was what I thought. I was like, somebody pick that up. Take that home for dinner. Nice. Yes, man versus self. Beautiful. Okay. So what I've been trying to do, or sorry, man versus man. Oh, I misspoke. Man versus man. What I want to do is to start introducing the text. That was our lesson on the literary elements that we're going to be using.